This week I'm working on Butterick 6485, and this project turned out to be much simpler than last week's. So it is a retro pattern from 1944, and I am considering this a day dress. And I'm just taking this opportunity through the prep work to tell you a little bit about the sizing. I did choose the size 14, which ended up working out great for me. I did not do the pleats and tucks until the very end, just so that I would be able to do them for myself instead of just what the pattern called for. In the end, I did use the pattern measurements and they worked out great. First step in this was to do a lot of prep work. So the facing in the front, I'm doing the gathering on those, and I'm using the floss method that I had spoken about in my last video. I can link that at the top. And then the other piece that I'm working on are the ties. So I'm just sewing those together, just folding it over, sewing it down, and then I'm going to clip the point, turn it inside out, and then attach that into the seam of the dress. And you'll notice that I only serged the end of this, and of course that reason is because it is going into the dress, and that's going to be the only part that is visible. So here I am attaching that into the seam of the dress, and I have this pinned in, and then I will do my two pieces together and go over that again. Once that is complete, I am fitting my facing pieces into the front. So to do this, I am just pinning it at the top and the bottom where the seams are going to connect, and then I am taking my floss and I am just gathering that down so that it's going to be able to ease into that seam easier. And then I'm going to pin this in, and I'll sew over top of that. Once I have finished sewing this in, then I will take the floss out. Once those are inserted, this is what it's going to look like. And of course, I'm going to press these before I attach the shoulder seams. Now, the one thing that I did do differently on this that was actually called for in the pattern, but in the end I didn't do it, where the facing should have had a back on it. And because that was a little confusing to me, and overall I really wasn't concerned about it being in there, I don't have a double facing on the front. So that is one way that I did not follow the pattern. However, I don't feel like it takes away from the dress. So after these pieces are done, the front facing, that really was the most difficult part of this entire pattern. So here you see me just attaching all of the rest of the seams. So there's a front seam, a side front seam, the back. Overall, I think there are 8 seams in this dress. And this is the one thing that was not called for, but I wanted it, and that's pockets. Those are inserted in the front, between the front and the front side. So a little strange placement, but I did want those pockets, so I'm glad that I have them overall. So once I have my pockets in and all of my seams are done, I'm going to be doing the facing. So here's what the facing looks like pinned in, front and back. And then I'm just going to sew along the top seam. Then I'm going to press the top of the back seam up to insert my zipper here. This is just a standard zipper insertion. And then I will sew the facing down over top of the zipper so that that's going to enclose it. And one of the last things that I'm doing here are inserting the sleeves. And the sleeves are done exactly the same way that I've been doing them, so they do have a pleat at the top. And here is my finished look. The one thing that I did not do to start off with was to put the tucks and the darts into the dress immediately, and that is because I wanted to make sure that it would fit me the way that I wanted it to, but I did end up going with the pleats and the tucks and whatever else that the pattern called for. So there was a lot of that to do the shaping in the middle, but I am very happy with how that looked. And overall, this project was extremely simple. I was able to get it done in a couple hours, which is good because I'm a little behind this week. But I hope that you enjoyed watching this, and I will see you in the next video.